Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mass Effect 2168 Belly of the Beast. All right, last time, just really quick recap. We had a human was supposed to meet up with the Solarian, did so, and offered a job to find a missing Alliance vessel. And in finding that vessel, more or less just trying to make sure that they get to keep everything's intact, everything's good to go, and help the vessel get back to safety. He was offered the job with some monies and stuff like that, and given the authority to find his own group of people to work with. Okay, cool, not a problem. He started putting together a group of people, and while explaining to them the job, a Batarian turns around and is like, "Hey, that job you're doing, I got a different option for you. Why don't you do it for us instead?" And so they talk amongst each other, and they decide, why don't we do it for the humans and the Batarian? Double dip.
Play both sides.
Yeah, that nothing will ever go wrong when you do that.
There's nothing terrible happens ever when you double dip.
Okay, so George Costanza would totally argue with you on that one. So you, when you guys finished up, you told the Batarian of this plan. At first, he didn't seem to like it, but when the Krogan spoke up, he seemed to understand, and he's willing to allow you to play it out the way that you want to. You're going to bring him the information he wants, and he's going to give you guys the credits. Good. All right, so now you're waiting for the human to arrive, and when he does so, it's not just one human arrives, it's actually two humans that do so. One of them is clearly in Alliance uniform, and the other one is not. The one that shows up in Alliance uniform comes walking over to you guys. He sees you guys, and he makes his way over to you, and he's like, so you agreed to do this, and this is your crew, he says to Cattle.
There's still one person that I sent an invite to that should be, hopefully, making their acquaintance shortly. But yes.
Immediately starts looking around, looking to see if somebody's approaching. But in doing so, allows the person that was coming with him that is not in Alliance uniform, that is a human, to finish making their way over. They are clearly in in armored gear, and is very obviously human Alliance standard armor, very clearly human Alliance standard weapons. However, it does not have the Alliance symbols on any of it. It's the exact same equipment, but with all the symbols and whatnot removed off of the stuff, making it camouflaged Alliance gear, but it's very obviously standard stuff. And he comes walking over, and he has a bit of a stern look to him, but he doesn't say anything right away. And he looks around and he's like, "Oh, are they here right now?"
I haven't seen them around yet. They are a busy person.
Oh, well, hopefully they join with us soon, because we need you to be leaving very shortly. And then he gestures over to the person next to him, and he goes, "And this is Lieutenant this is Lieutenant Clark." And the person steps forward and reaches his hand out to firmly grab the Solarians.
I'll give him a handshake, sure.
He
It's probably going to be one of those awkward handshakes.
Yeah, because of your fingers being all weird or whatever. And
it's not awkward for me, it's awkward for him.
So he reaches over and he grabs your hand, and it's like a very firm grip, like one of those like almost obnoxiously firm grip. And so he grabs your hand and he gives like a good squeeze, so you know that he's there. And then he reaches over to shake he'll actually go reach across the table to shake the hand of the Asari that's there. Entree.
Yeah, she'll shake.
Does she do the same thing?
You can't offer her a hand. He's like that. You can't do that. So she shakes in response.
Okay, good.
It's not like she doesn't understand social convention. It's just Asari convention is like you kiss the hand.
Yep.
So, at least where she's from.
So she actually shakes the hand the normal way, and then he turns to the Krogan and he gives the Krogan a very affirming nod. Doesn't shake his hand, but gives him like a firm nod. And the Krogan is just fucking massive. I mean, this guy's standing at only about 5'9", human, so under 2 meters, right? This Krogan is very large. Yes,
I just realized they definitely don't have Krogan-sized chairs. So either he's standing or he's on a very small stool
He was on a very
Eventually, it's
And
gonna
our
break.
dad
And we're
says
gonna
a
get
great
chased out of the
imagery
bar.
to me. But
He was
everyone's
on a
scared of
very
him, and he's on a
small
very
stool.
small stool. And he's got like Krogans have really big thighs too, so it is a perfect image in my mind.
He's practically standing. You know those standing desk stools? That's
Mm,
basically his position. He's like just
leaning on it, yeah.
yeah, he looks down towards the two people and he nods towards the unmarked person and just says, Lieutenant Spark.
Yeah, so like I said, it's that nod. Cracks. No. And so that joke's never gonna get old. So he gestures to him, says that he does his greeting to you. He goes, Lieutenant Clark is his name. Lieutenant Clark, he's going to be the pilot for you and flying.
Lulu Spark. And he just nods.
No. Clark.
He seems heavily armed. Are we expecting danger?
Precautionary. He says, kind of like he's staring at the Krogan. Like, does the Krogan not understand? And
no,
then,
the Krogan's definitely fucking with them.
yeah.
Yeah, but they just
Like,
assume
Clark,
Krogans
Clark,
are
Clark,
savages.
Lulu,
So
Clark. Got it. He nods his head.
Yeah. And he looks over to Entree and says, I'm trying to memorize the name. Looks over to Entree and says, well, precaution, yes?
I just hope that it won't come to Glorious Marie.
Hopefully there is no combat, yes. Well, just to keep you informed on exactly how things are happening, we did get together a vessel for you guys to be transported in that is an unmarked vessel. It is not an Alliance vessel at all, as a matter of fact, because our concern is that if this vessel was targeted, if this was an attempt against the Alliance itself, we don't want to be sending in Alliance cavalry that will also similarly be targeted. So you will be flying on a vessel that is, of course, owned by us, but is not one of ours. Does that sound fine to you?
Yes, that is common sense.
We had already discussed payments beforehand. Are we all fine with the terms? And he says, like, looking across the two of you, but landing on the Solarian.
I have discussed the terms with them. They have agreed.
Good. Then why don't we not waste any more time, because human lives are at risk right now. You should probably immediately head your way to the hangar and start your departure. The details were all, of course, covered with Lieutenant Clark, and he would be more than happy to answer any other questions that you might have. So please, Godspeed, and have a safe journey, and bring them home safe.
We will do our best.
He nods and smiles and kind of like just turns and walks away. And then that leaves the lieutenant looking at you, the three of you guys. You know, his arms are currently crossed. He's looking at the three of you guys, kind of like sizing you up. And then, like, just after he, like, sizes you up for a moment, starts, like, nodding to himself, like, okay, I can work with this. And then he's like, all right, follow me. And then turns and starts walking away from you guys towards, eventually towards a hangar. Do you guys say anything to each other or to him or anything whatsoever on your way to the vessel?
I give the Krogan a glance at this. Just like
he doesn't even know
humans, right?
Like, he's so much taller than you, he'd have to be, like, actively looking down to notice that you're glancing.
Krogans don't seem to have a very good up-down with their whole head situation.
No, it's just like, you know, they got
so it's like like an old Batman.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Michael Keaton was my favorite Batman. So
Was that like the
that's
start
what
of
I
a
was
rap
thinking.
or something?
Yeah, it's John LaJoie. Like, I was
Never
walking
heard
down
of
the street just the other day. I saw the two fly bitches. They were walking my way. What you ladies
And now your
think is what
content
I wanted to say.
IDs. No money for Scott.
Oh,
Aw.
By the way, fair warning, Twitch is cracking down on everything now. For
yeah.
music.
No,
Or
I
you talk
know.
about-
I actually do have music playing in the background here, but I know that it's one of those things where I'm like, until Twitch gives me a warning, I'll continue to use music in the background. But you know, it may have to go away eventually because of how Twitch is. So let's continue. So and it's one of those things where I know Twitch is saying, like, even if you do have explicit explicit permission from the artist that creates the
Oh,
music
flag
itself,
you anyway.
they can flag you anyways, and so on and so forth. It's annoying, but I will use it until I can't use it anymore. Moving on. So you are making your way following him, not really saying anything. You toss that look towards the Krogan, but don't say anything. So you guys eventually get to the hangar. The hangar you guys go to happens to once again still be inside the crappier district of the Citadel, down in the lower wards area, but it has access to actually leave the Citadel itself. When you guys go and look at the vessel, this thing is kind of a junker. It is not exactly an amazing ship by any stretch of the imagination. And when the ship opens up, so when you my apologies. So it is kind of a junker. It is not an amazing ship by any stretch of the imagination, but it is still a functioning flying ship that is unmarked and clearly was human, but like an older design and whatnot. Many parts switched out. It is just not good looking. So you guys first walk onto the vessel and look around. One of the first things that you notice is that the air here is kind of gross. It's disgusting. Do me a favor and roll me a lore intelligence check, each one of you.
No, this is pod racing.
Ooh, finally a good roll.
It's not even similar to pod racing, like at all. Just saying, there's no
Not
relation
yet.
really. Not yet.
So Cattle, you understands the reason why the air in here smells so gross, why it's disgusting, is because it's designed for human breathing. Like it is not very good, but it is designed specifically for human comfort, human breathing. This is for them. So as you guys are walking in there and breathing that in, just like, oh, okay. You're easily able to start walking around and looking at your, I'm just trying to find my little setup here. I'm probably screwing up my overlay hardcore right now because I can't find what the hell I'm looking for. There it is. Bothering me that I couldn't find it. There we go. And that should fix the problem.
Or dumb Krogan. Probably doesn't even know this.
Well, Andre goes on the ship, and after like a little bit, is like, well, this just definitely will not do.
Where the hell did I just put that? I literally just...
This air is not clean.
At that point, Cattle would just chime in and be like, this is a human ship. They make ships for humans, after all. It won't be
There we go. Okay.
the
problem
most
solved.
comfortable, I'm afraid. You know, we gotta make do, I guess.
The things I do to continue the flow of the universe.
So the ship that you guys go on to, one of the first things that you guys step into, the area that you step into, is the cargo area. Like stepping up through the cargo area. Kind of a nifty thing that you notice is that the cargo area here has, and I mean the mechanics of it are rather beat up. They're not very good, but it does have a who amongst you knows ships best? I suppose I can have you guys roll for this. And for ships, you can actually roll for me either an electronics or a lore check, and this is going to be intelligence, please.
Definitely going lore.
I'm gonna guess it's not me.
I just realized my same thing with Rick. My skills are all fucked up.
That's annoying because they
Yeah,
weren't
that's
after
all
I
right.
changed
Let me just go through them again.
on the sheet. Yeah.
I think
So I
mine
had
are
a-
fine. It's only counting like level 1 skills.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
it was
all-
literally the one skill that I had a 1
Yeah,
in,
I just
so-
remember because I had
When you
electronics.
roll, they're rolling perfectly fine. It's just whether or not they are.
They say
They're correct.
Yeah.
It was
I'm looking at yours, Frank.
Oh,
Frank, yours look perfect.
Yeah, that's just, mine look fine, but
Yeah.
it's only the level 1 stuff. I don't know if we did any level 2 skill points.
We can't have
They-
level 2 yet.
Yeah,
So you don't.
that's what I figured. It's like, yeah, well, mine look fine.
Okay, so with your I changed fix to electronics. Now I have to change it again after this one. We'll just have to double check that.
That's
Um,
probably what fucked it.
With that one word.
Well, you changed it from electronic to fix, so then I had no electronics anymore, right?
Oh, mine says electronics.
No, it's supposed to say electronics. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna make one random roll to see what happens.
Oh, I know what you
Here.
mean.
Yeah,
I've got
okay.
this one, I'm
I
just
fixed
rolling.
all of them. That must have just been literally the one that I missed out of all that list of things that I was working on that day a couple weeks ago, Ollie. All right, moving on. So with your lore, electronics, and lore checks that you guys did, so it's entree and cattle. What you guys choose, what you guys roll when you're coming up, you notice that there is again a as you're going up into the shaft to go into the ship itself, you see that part of this ship has a device that allows you to literally bore into the hull of another ship to allow you to board another ship by force. However, the condition of that thing is very, very poor, and it will probably work, but is certainly on its outs right now. So you do have a boarding module built onto the ship itself. When you come into the ship, and don't forget, if you scroll up in our Skype chat, our Humans Are Lame Skype chat, there is the map of a general layout of the ship. It's not the perfect one, but it's like a good idea.
Can
of
we
what it looks
have
like.
that as a handout at some point? Not this week, but as another time.
Yeah, I can do that as a handout.
Like we did it with the ship for the Everon game. So
Yeah. I'll probably end up on graphing paper sketching one out and doing something that's a little
Yeah.
bit more accurate or whatever.
I'm okay with that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so something that's a little bit
I
more
love
accurate
doing
than
that.
this. So I mean, it's not going to be great because I'm terrible at drawings, but so if you look at the image, you can at least get a basic idea. But so you go into the vessel, you see that like the boring area that you came through is almost immediately into the hull and whatnot, and you can see that this lower area, because there's 2 levels to the ship, the lower area is pretty much where hull is going to be maintained, where the engine room is, and where the engineering area is. When you go upstairs, that's gonna be like the living space, and then where the actual like piloting is, where the communications are, where everything else is going to be up above. So when you guys go up there and walk around, you can see that this place could actually rather comfortably fit, we'll say 3 to 5 people. No problem. Super comfortable. But then more beyond that, with slightly less comfortable as you go. And it also can hold a good amount of stores, wares, whatever inside here too. So as you guys are going around throughout the ship that smells terrible, making your comments that seem to fall on deaf ears, you can kind of like get the layout of the ship and get comfortable with where you are. Going upstairs, one of the things that you notice almost immediately cracks is the chair. There is a specific chair for controlling the guns of the ship, and that's probably really nice for you. It's like, oh, hey, this is actually a ship, a spot for taking over manual overrides, to take over the guns from whoever the pilot is or whatever, so you can actually control it, and so on. So you're there for a short period of time, kind of like taking everything in and getting things up and running and whatnot. When the ship does come online, but it has a bit of a struggle coming online at first. After a little bit of like switching over the way that power is functioning, switching over a little bit of the algorithms that are running inside the VI of the ship, eventually it seems to run smoothly. Perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. Just had a bit of an issue with the kick up, and now power fluctuations, everything are at a minimal. Everything's perfectly fine. Ship comes online, and eventually you lift up and start to fly off.
Fly, yeah.
Now, as you guys are flying away and things like the course is kind of set, you do hear on like the overspeaker, because there is an overspeaker. Hey, everyone, report to the oh shit, what's it called? Oh my god, I totally forgot what it's called on a show. The
hold? The briefing room?
bridge. Oh,
Bridge?
I forgot the word bridge. Holy shit, I'm a terrible sci-fi fan. So he goes, everybody report to the bridge. Let's go over some details quick.
I'd probably already be chilling there in a chair.
I would go back. I would have been having a conversation with Cracks about how strange it is that humans are new on the space scene and yet the ship is so old.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Just
new
like-
on your space scene, but yes.
But that's what I would be saying.
Yeah. Could I actually make a knowledge lore for that? Just, I want to see if he like knows random trivia knowledge.
Sure. That's intelligence
Random
lore.
trivia, Krogan.
Cracks
I'm
is
gonna
going to
do intelligence.
actually.
Well, you see.
No, definitely not.
No.
Nope. So
There's humans on board?
yeah, nice.
He
So
shrugs and just goes, probably got uplifted by, and he sees that you're sorry. It's
So-
like, by the Solarians.
so you guys are So it probably got uplifted by
Not your
Solarians.
people.
Yeah, not you. It wasn't you. So you guys make your way to the bridge. Now, again, the bridge has 3 comfortable seats that can take over different areas. One seat can pretty much run the entire ship if need be, and that's perfectly fine. If you guys are looking at the actual image that I have set for you for the base, and again, I'll do a little sketch or whatever. That's going to be the one that's kind of like bluish and off to the side. The other one is more set for like comms, for literally reaching out to other ships, reaching out into deep space, sensors, as well as, cyber warfare and just straight communications. And the other one's going to be for actual what's the word I'm looking for here? Actual taking over the weapons and controlling targeting and et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you guys see that the seats are set for. So he's kind of sitting in that one that's off to the side. We'll say that the Solarian was sitting in the one that takes over communications. And when the other two kind of walk in, does the Asari choose to sit down or stand? And the Krogan, I imagine, is standing.
I'm standing. I'll stand by the door.
Okay. And so all of you guys are kind of like standing there. And after he seems to get things in order and he then turns around in his chair to face towards you guys. And he sits in this chair with his arms crossed. And he's like, any of you ever worked for the Alliance before? Any of you ever accept jobs for the Alliance before?
Not yet. If this is anything to go by. We're in for an
Cracks just
interesting
like
time.
scratches his cheek and is like, technically. Like,
He's like, we usually take care of our own. We usually solve our own problems. That's just the nature of this thing, right? However, we've been having a bit of an outreach lately, trying to build ourselves relations with the locals. So here you are, locals, and we're building relations with you. Let's all pat ourselves on the back. We can share cupcakes later. In the meanwhile,
I'm not local to here.
can't reach. Very hard.
Oh,
Tiny
T-Rex.
yard.
You say, I'm not local to here. And he goes, I don't think any of us are. The vessel that we're going for is Alliance. It falls under our umbrella. However, this is not a military vessel. This is a vessel that was supposed to be transporting citizens. It's just civilians going from point A to point B. It went dark yesterday morning, bright and early. Went dark, and we're trying to find them. The goal here is to save the people. Are you going to be up for the task? Are all of you very capable in combat?
We already agreed to the task.
Are you capable in combat?
We were hired to do the task. We assumedly... A task that was not told to us that would be combat-based.
Which is why I'm asking
Lieutenant.
you point blank. Are you capable of handling combat?
Yes,
Thank you.
but why? If this ship is civilians, why would you ask such a seemingly irrelevant thing?
Because it took place in the Attican Traverse.
Do I know that
Uh,
area?
I mean, yes, everybody knows that area, but to know what he's referring to, you can roll me a lore check, intelligence.
Yes, please.
Because I know of a vague area, like, out of character, but not, specifics of what's going actually
By
on.
the way, quick question.
Shoot.
Is, on our little ship thing, is the bridge supposed to be number 1, the flight deck?
Over here, yes.
Because that's a super small area. So Krax is just, like, in the doorway. Because he
Yeah.
probably can't fit in.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's
That's funny.
15 feet wide, including electronics at its widest point, right? And I think it's, almost 20 feet deep, but also
Yeah,
lots
but
of
there's
electronics.
4 people.
Yeah.
He's a giant Krogan.
Well, don't forget, Sans the Krogan. Sans the Krogan. In D&D and stuff like that, we always take up, 5-foot squares or 1 meter squares or whatever it is. But, in real life, I don't take up 5 feet.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I do this, that's, 4 feet.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those, you get the elbows, you get space. It's not a big deal. But the Krogan is a different story. He's got a girthy.
Yeah.
He's got I take up space. So,
So he's just, in the doorway, just, hanging on, his head poking in.
Krax has no clue Cattle, you obviously know about the Attican Traverse, and you obviously know about the goings-ons between the humans and the Batarians that are going on. Specifically, Entourage, you know that in the Attican Traverse, there is a Skillian Verge. In the Skillian Verge, there is... Oh, you rolled better than I thought. Gotcha,
Me
that
too.
just came later.
That's why I didn't roll in the first place.
Sorry, I was going with the one immediately above it. So you actually also know of like a long ongoing thing between the humans and the Batarians. So moving on, there there's the Attica Traverse. There is the Skillian Verge, where there's like effectively a quiet war happening between the humans and the Batarians, always going on. And you obviously know the Batarians have their reputation. So he's referring to that, and to your varying degrees, you all understand what that is. Do you respond with it, or you just keep it to yourself?
I would nod and then, well, that would have been pertinent information before we took the job. Keep that in mind for your employer next time, that
Indeed.
professionals like to know all of the information.
You don't need to explain this to me. I know exactly who it was that they put in charge of the outreach program. It's the soft-spoken ones, not the ones that are actually handling these issues. So, here we are. We're all here. You're getting paid to do this job, and I'm being assigned to it. I understand that there was some arrangements made for you to get paid for this. Well, let me start by doing this. And he actually pulls out of like a little pack these 4 like little packs that are designed to like fit into your Omnitools and whatnot. And so he pulls out these 5 little packets, and he's like, I was told that you're going to be given some Metagel before the task is started.
You'd be correct, yes.
And he hands out to Cattle. Like he hands... actually, you know what? Entourage is standing. Cattle's sitting. He'll actually hand over towards Entourage the 5 packets of Metagel.
She'll take it and kind of look at it for a while, and then give Cattle a look. And it's not it's sort of a what did you sign me up for look. And then sort of nods and immediately...
I just look at her back and I shrug. Like, I mentioned they would throw in a little bonus. You didn't ask.
He's like, so you can have those now. At the end of it, you're going to get whatever credits he had decided to give to you. But this is what we're doing. We're going in. I'm pretty sure I know exactly around the area where the ship is. We're going to fly around for a bit. We're going to scan for a bit. We're going to find this damn thing. Then we're going to go in and see if everybody's okay. It's a very good chance that they're not okay. In which case, then it's our job to take care of the investigation of how or why this happens and see where things go from there.
Fair enough.
Okay. Do any of you know how to work a ship? This is information that would have been pertinent to me prior to your coming on board. I can manage the ship alone, but it'd be a lot easier if there were capable people here.
I'll deal with your comms for you.
Can you handle the scanners as well?
Don't worry about... Would scanners be the same thing as decryption, or would that
Perception or electronics when you're using it on a ship?
be...
What would the guns be? I assume electronics.
Actually, no. Guns are based off of... It's your...
Just flat dexterity?
So yeah, it's intelligence or dexterity when you're doing it on a ship, and then it's based off of a few other details. You actually have it written here on your character sheet. You see there's a ship weapons area, and it's based off of different skills, different types of weapon skills based off of the kind of weapon that you're using. So it's actually kind of depends on which one you're working with. Yeah. So moving on. So you would be able to handle the weapons. So do you say that?
Yeah. I mean, how big is that weapons chair? Like, he looks towards the weapons chair when
It's probably a human-sized chair.
It is.
Because human
I can
chairs
handle
are-
that. Just not that.
He looks at the chair and he looks at you and he's like, if I knew a Krogan was sitting there, I would have had it changed. In the meanwhile, you're gonna have to deal.
Is it like bolted to the floor? I'm gonna assume.
It is bolted to the floor, but it's one of those things where because of the fact that the chair is like you're so massive.
It's
and
a
the
swivelly
chair's
chair.
It is a swivelly chair, whatnot. You think if you just ripped the arms off of the chair,
That's what I was thinking. Is like breaking the chair.
Yeah.
making it into a
Field
stool.
modification.
yeah, it's like if you rip the arms
So-
off the chair, you could sit on it. It's gonna be uncomfortably small for you, but you've gone through worse things. Like you personally were born on Tachunga. So you personally have gone through worse things than this chair, but that doesn't change the fact that you might want to modify it.
Yeah, I think Cracks is like as soon as they're like, yeah, I didn't know that a cargo was going. He just like ducks in through the doorway, walks over to the chair, just like rips the arms off, rips the back off, so it's just a stool.
That's awesome. So you literally, while he's having this conversation, he says that, and like he's like, yeah, but, and he just walks over, rips it off, and then after your display is done, which I imagine takes like 30 seconds to a minute, and like everybody's just kind of like watching you in silence. Once you're done, and like you're kind of like happy with yourself, and you like turn back towards them, do you even sit or do you just continue standing?
No, he just continues standing.
Yep.